Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Live Train Form podcast. I'm your host, Sean Kober. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been bringing to you some of my best of editions. I brought to you the Coach's Corner edition, followed by the Client Corner edition, followed by the Health and Fitness Principles edition. During this episode, we are going through the Military Mindset and Mental Health edition. So some of my favorite conversations that I had with my guests of 2021. In the first part of this episode, I talked to Swiss 8, which is a proactive mental health program designed by veterans, initially for veterans, to schedule in 8 pillars of health and wellness, which are sleep, nutrition, time management, discipline, fitness, personal growth, mindfulness, and minimalism. All right, here we are with Adrian Sutter and Anthony Meixner of Swiss 8.
So that's where we're at. We've got a lot of new programming coming up. Shooting stuff, a lot of meditation, sleep, binaural beat stuff that'll be out in the next few weeks. There's a few bigger projects. We can't go into all of them. Our big focus this year is it's heavily research backed. We've got a study on at the moment in partnership with Newcastle Uni for anyone who is. I know you've got an international audience at the moment. We're just recruiting Australian military veterans. If you've transitioned out any time from 1990, I think it is, onwards. Swiss8.org/research. You can sign up for the trial. It's in its simplest form. It is using the app for 8 weeks and tracking your mood every day. And there's a bunch of finer details that the psych researcher at Newcastle Uni will go into when you register. But that's a big focus at the moment. And then later in the year, we have another research partnership, which is a little bit classified at the moment. We're building a tech product that will change the face of mental health across the planet. It's using algorithms, machine learning, a bunch of data points that'll be funneling in through the app to, I don't know, Tom, am I allowed to talk? Yeah,
it's going to be really good. Watch this space.
Yeah, all right.
Well
yeah,
said,
good.
Mate. Yeah, cool. So what's the vision for Swiss 8 over the next couple of years? Like, what's the direction you guys are moving in?
I mean, our end state is to build tech products that allow people to live life without falling into fucking pits of depression and anxiety. We are well on the way to being a big player in that space, and that is our goal. 3-year goal is to get this research, this tech-based research done, get it out to everybody around Australia, veteran community first. I mean, the app itself is open to the public now, and then eventually to the world. And that will become the foundation of what Swiss 8 is. And then Mex's big focus at the moment is coordinating a lot of the events, because, and I'll let Mex go into more detail, but there is in the tech space, like, everyone's tried it. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, social networking was originally designed to connect people in the digital age. Unfortunately, without in-person physical connection, we are fucked. I mean, it's made the world worse, realistically. Connecting the world digitally has disconnected everyone physically. So we're acutely aware of that. Everything we're building in the tech space needs to be followed up with phase 2 of how do we get people connected physically, how do we get them outdoors, living life through these principles. Personal growth is a massive one, and that's what a lot of these events are going to be based around, is finding ways to get people together, doing shit that they've never done before, finding new hobbies, learning new skills.
And the object is not to create another ESO for a activity. Veterans are like people, they're like fingerprints, they're all different, and the 3,500 ESOs would continue to balloon to how many millions of people on the planet, because everybody's different and they like to integrate and do things slightly differently. Using events where, instead of doing that, bringing people together digitally, bring them together in a construct where they can form new circles, learn new skills, and build a new tribe around something that they are interested in. So we got the Fink Desert Race, which is motocross, a big enduro race for 2 days. Getting veterans who are ex-vehicle mechanics to come and be the vehicle mechanics. Getting ex-cooks, I get the army cooks in, like, come on, mate, you're cooking dinner. Get the boys in. Anyone that's really focused on, they love motorbikes and stuff like that, bang, we're going to do an event for that. The next, like, we got a Sydney to Hobart. people who like sailing, we're going to teach them to sail properly, rig a boat. There's going to be a pretty... We're finalising it all, but we've got some spots in the Sydney to Hobart on one of the boats, and it'll be a month-long lead-up training. So these guys are going to have to get selected to come and jump on and be on one of the boats for the Sydney to Hobart. Stuff like this where we can build a tribe and get people out. They're digitally connected. We can keep them together, and they can build a new community and find a new identity outside of defence. That's not weird.
It's not forced.
It's not forced, and it's not these weird, like, hey, we're going to do... I don't want to... Like, fuck it. Like, it's not like painting for therapy or something. It's like where boys are like, I'm not going to fucking... Sure, there might be an option, but it's activities where people are like, hang on, that kind of looks like a bit of fun. Like, you're dead right. And that's what we're trying to get
challenging.
Boys... Yep.
And
challenging is the big one.
man.
It's got to be challenging. You've got to be able to, I mean, the exciting part is that we're not doing all this in isolation either. Collaboration between other ex-service organisations and charities is high on our kind of radar. There is a big problem, especially in Australia. I'm not sure what it's like in other countries, but the broken veteran story came about because there's too many ex-service organisations and they all compete for what they think is a small funding pool, and therefore they've got to tell the story to the world that veterans are broke and give us more money. Created infighting, ESAs all hate each other, and that is a big fucking problem. So us working with other organisations, RSL for example, me and Swebsy and a few of the boys are members of the local RSL as well. That's an ex-service organisation that we're trying to bring together to be part of these events, whether or not the Fink, I'm not sure, but definitely with the sailing stuff. And then internationally, I mean, the boys from Heads Up and Fighting Minds, I mean, that it's not across the line yet, but collaborating with other ex-service organisations, I think that is the model that we have to adopt. We can't, everyone from the military has some form of hero complex buried away in their psyche somewhere. Everyone wants to save the world. There's a lot of people out there now spruiking or pretending they've got all the answers to everything, and they just realistically want to be the face that everyone looks at and goes, hey, they solved all the problems. That's not how it works. The only way forward in this entire, the only way to solve this problem is by organisations working together, sharing information, building products together that fucking solve problems. So that's a big part of our vision and future.
And mate, this isn't bespoke to veterans. This isn't a veteran problem. These are all problems that society. I think veterans have had the lion's share of exposure to suicide. Yes, the numbers are high. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think these same principles are for society. And without you could do this podcast and drop off the veteran piece, and it's completely palatable and makes perfect sense to any person, any demographic on the planet. The principles don't change because you went in the army, because you wore one uniform or the other. I think they were just polarized and exacerbated. You know, leaving the military, you know, your mateship and your tribe and stuff like that is probably more so. But there's other areas. I think it's got utility across every aspect and field of life.
Absolutely, mate. And I like what you said before about the cooperation between the different organizations. I think that is super important, man. And it's fucking critical because, you know, no one organization can cover all of the bases. You know, again, everything is a tool. And, you know, instead of investing your time, energy, and effort into covering specific topics and certain things, someone else is already fucking doing that. Just work with them to, you know, push that over the line and help. We should be complementing each other. All of these different veteran organizations should be complementing each other, and we're all working towards the same thing. Like, you know, both you boys have been in Afghanistan. You know what it's like. You know, everyone has a role. You've got your fucking infantry soldiers, you've got your snipers, you've got your engineers, you've got your mortars, you've got your signalers, you've got your cavalrymen, you've got, you know, all of these different roles, all of these different responsibilities, and everyone brings something to the table, and together they work as a fucking team to achieve the mission. I think that's absolutely critical and something that has been missing, unfortunately, in the veteran space. And this is why I'm really happy to be working with you guys, because you guys think like that as well. And, you know, I've been asked to be involved with a couple of other organizations as well. And, you know, I see all the infighting, and I see everyone's kind of going up against each other and butting heads and, you know, trash talking other organizations and shit like that. And I just don't want to fucking be a part of that. I want to be a part of the veteran community that are working working together to fucking solve these problems that not only veterans are going through, but the wider community as well.
100%, mate. And I think that is fairly similar across our circle of mates. No one's really got time to get in the fucking mud fights and to throw shit at each other. I mean, we've had there's certain politicians out there that don't really like our attitude towards life and things, and people. There is other organisations that throw mud, and I think, especially with social media these days, it's so easy to get caught in the, hey, I'm going to spend today responding to all this shit, or I could spend today focusing on the projects that I've been working on for the last fucking 5 years. And I think that's where we're going to stick to it. And that is the mentality of yourself, all of our mates. It's like, if we want to achieve big things, then we're going to cop some haters.
Next up in the episode, it's a great conversation I had with Simon Moloney, who's one of my mates and also a former sniper of the British military. I was a former sniper of the Australian Army. We had a great discussion about everything that we had to do to pass that course, as well as some of the things that we learnt from basic training and how those skills and disciplines then carried over to being able to operate under duress in Afghanistan and on other deployments. Simon was awarded the Conspicuous Gallantry Cross for actions under fire in Afghanistan by Her Majesty the Queen of England. And in this part of the conversation, we discussed the events and the circumstances that led up to and occurred during those actions under fire. 2013, you went there as a sniper. Now, talk to me about your role on that deployment.
Yeah, so we were something called the Brigade Reconnaissance Force, sort of abbreviated BRF. Essentially, there was a bit of a selection to do to get into that role before you went on the operation. So it was, you'd like to say it was not the best soldiers, but the guys who were a bit more motivated and wanted to leave their units to go and do it. So a load of us went and did that. And essentially, we stayed in the main camp, Camp Bastion. So we had better living conditions, Wi-Fi, food, gym, that sort of thing. But our main role was to launch on time-sensitive information or intelligence, or specific intelligence on what the Taliban were up to within Helmand province. So if there was a patrol base who was getting particularly, smashed or having a hard time of it, we'd look into it and realise that, say, there's 30 foreign fighters in the town down the road. We'd go and land by helicopter and raid that town. So every time we went out and got dirty, or, when we were out on patrol, we went out and had an effect on the enemy. So it's a very rewarding job. How many times have you been out on an 8-hour patrol and nothing's happened, and you're fucking tired, you're hungry and you're knackered, and you've not really seen the enemy, or it was just nothing happened that day. Every time we went out, we were either taking munitions off them and denying them, or we were actually whacking the Taliban and getting involved. So it was a very rewarding job and a good job to have in Afghan.
Nice. Let's transition. 4th of July, 2013.
Yeah, so 4th of July was my last operation before we come home in our 2 weeks R&R. Stupidly made a joke that morning that, it's the last one. Watch one of us get hit. And they were all like, why did you say that? And so, you're not superstitious, are you? It was a nighttime raid. So we left at like 1 a.m, landed at 3. And essentially we were going to clear an area called Yakchow, which had supposedly been cleared by the Afghan army the week before, but we knew it was a hot spot, and we knew that they probably hadn't cleared it because they didn't report many casualties, and we knew this place was a fucking hellhole. Like, we knew we were going to fight. So yeah, landed at 3, and then we sort of inserted and encircled Yakchow and waited for the sun to come up. As soon as for us, we weren't allowed to kick doors down until daylight. So first light, we go straight through the door, and the aim there was to sweep through. Myself, with a sniper grouping, we were going to sort of looked on the map, saw exactly where I wanted to go. Wanted to go in this building here. It's perfect range. It was elevated. I felt like it was well defendable. Everything felt good. I was completely happy with the plan. I wouldn't have changed. I mean, even hindsight, I wouldn't have changed the plan, to be honest, with that particular operation.
Mm-hmm. With the intelligence that you had?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, exactly that. Yep. So, as the sun's kind of cresting, shots start ringing out. Yeah. So straight away, as soon as the sun come up, we started getting sporadic fire. So we knew that was going to happen, right? We knew Yak Chow was going to be a fight. The issue was we've gone in and encircled Yak Chow, so you'd be forgiven.
You're like cordoned off the outside.
Yeah, for sure. Facing in, so you'd be forgiven for thinking that behind you was relatively safe. So, I'm looking to face inwards, cover the guys going in. We start getting sporadic fire from behind us where we've just fucking been. Straight away, there's an issue there because they've obviously just either outflanked us or out-encircled us, or, why are they doing that? Why are they not defending what we're clearing? Essentially, looking back, what had happened is I'd set up on a building called Old School House, which was like the Taliban schoolhouse where they teach their teachings to young kids.
Madrasa.
Yeah, all of that sort of stuff. Sharia law, that type of thing. And it's a bit of a symbolic building to them. That, as well as we know, sort of with terrorist culture, or especially with the Middle East, snipers aren't liked. Snipers are seen as assassins. They're not, Muslim law. So there's sort of within warfare, snipers aren't cool dudes. They're high priority targets because we're not seen and then we kill people. It's essentially that, isn't it? When a sniper comes out on the ground in Afghan to do one thing and one thing only, it's not to hand out biscuits and water. So seeing a sniper on the roof, my own fault again, probably again an elevated position and with the building being such a cultural interest, it was obvious where I was and it not too hard to see. We had good cover there, but yeah, looking back, maybe that was a bit too overt. And we started to get sporadic fire. Nothing to worry about. We were holding it fine. And there was a dicker who was within, I'd say he was 240 meters out, which, as you know, with a sniper rifle is not much at all. But he didn't have a weapon. He was definitely dicking us. So I asked permission to shoot or to engage him, and we weren't under enough fire to shoot. The rules of engagement we were under stated that we can't shoot dickers. Okay, no dramas.
Mm-hmm. That's people that are spotting and passing on information, things like that for people that are listening.
Yeah, sorry guys. So a dicker is essentially an Afghan with binoculars around his neck and a radio, right? And he's not there. He's not there to do anything other than call positions. This was one of those times where, as we went in, women and children left. So anyone left inside the town is bad. He's there for a fight, or he's there to cause you problems or issues. He's not. The women and children left, which means the Taliban know this is going to be a hairy day.
Yep.
So yeah, I've asked to engage him. That's not happened. And then the boys, it was just jogging as normal. The plan stays, right? This is Afghan. You're going to get shot at.
Yeah. Let's just pause there for a minute because, you fucking know that dude is there observing your location, passing on information and trying to get a gauge of where all of the your forces are, the coalition forces, right? So then he can pass that information on to other people who can coordinate an attack, right? Just because they don't have a fucking weapon doesn't mean that they're not, they're not fucking
hostile
operating against you. They're not hostile. Exactly. So, just for people at home that are listening, it's like, we do have rules of engagement, but fuck, man, like some of these guys have been there for a long time, fighting for a fucking long time. They know the rules of engagement, so they're going to fucking bend the rules, or they're going to work those rules to their advantage whenever they can. And man, as soon as you go into a location, atmospherics deteriorate, all the women and children fucking, get out of there. That every single fighting age male that's there is there for a fucking fight. They're trying to kill someone.
For sure, man. They know what they're doing. Hey, they know that you say about the rules of engagement. They know them better than we do. They know exactly our rules of engagement. I've seen guys put weapons down behind a wall, turn out, walk out in front of us, literally in plain sight, within 100 meters. I can hear what he's saying, and his weapon's behind a wall. And we can no longer engage them. No,
because if we do, we've now fucking killed an unarmed civilian.
For sure.
It's a complex environment.
It got to the point where we had something called X-spray that we would spray on someone's hands because when we come under fire, we'd get to a point where we were just about to assault the position, and then all they do is chuck the weapons or hide them and then run away. Then they'd walk out the bushes 10 minutes later and walk past us as if nothing's ever happened, and we're on the position. So you'd say, "Hey, come here," and he'd say, "Well, I'm just a farmer, whatever." So we'd spray this X-spray on his hands, and it would come up that this spray and
come up different colours.
Colours that that he'd been firing a rifle and the carbon on his hands and the chemicals. So that was one way of proving. But this is how blatant they'd be, because they know our rules of engagement better than we do. They know them inside and out, and they'd play us to that. So this is where we're at. I'm now looking at this guy a lot. I'm trying to see if I can see just the tip of a weapon pointing in over the top of it. Again, observation coming in here from the sniper's course. Not exploiting the rules of engagement at all, but applying them with a minute detail is what I'd say. Turns out we didn't get anything.
Of course, you know that dude's fucking hostile. You're just looking for something incriminating, so you can be like, all right, let's take that dude out. Let's fucking reduce their capability.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking to lawfully kill him. I'm not looking to unlawfully kill him, but I'm at war, and when he fits the rules of engagement, I'm gonna take him out. So, like I said, we didn't get that, and the operation goes on. This is just my little bubble on my corner of this operation. So the bigger picture is everyone cracks on, and they did, and it's almost as if they got just outside their own weapons range. So, as in our guys were just out of the way that they couldn't cover where I was, and we got hit. We got hit hard on my corner. 15 firing points is what's reported when we look back at the footage and stuff like that. Which is pretty fucking loud, mate. When it's at you, it's that's a heavy rate of fire. It sounded pretty loud. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I couldn't hear Ash, who was right next to me. Couldn't hear what he was saying. Couldn't hear what I was saying. And you just, what do you do in that situation, man? You just want the world to swallow you up.
So what happens then? You're returning fire. You're on the radio. You're reporting this higher.
Yeah, correct. So I'm on the radio. I'm trying to get a grip of the situation. One of the boys, Ash, had a machine gun. He starts rattling off with that. And as you know, my 5-round magazine in a bolt-action sniper rifle is not good for anything in a sustained contact like that. 2 minutes in, the rate of fire's picked up, and then bang. I hear Ash almost like split second before sort of the beginnings of the word fuck. As I believe the round fizzed in front of his face. And then plowed straight into my neck. So in one side, out the other. And it was like someone just set the reset button on me. I'd been hit by lightning, and it was like sort of Windows fail. I'm a bit like, what the fuck?
Now like that shot sent you sprawling across the roof, and then you ended up on the ground on your feet. Talk to me about that. Or tell my listeners that story.
So we're getting shot at hard. I've just been hit. Instant reactions is one of the kinetic energy of being hit has thrown me a little bit. And I just rolled with my rifle just to get the fuck off that roof. Fall off the roof. We're talking about 10 foot high here. So I would have done myself some damage, and I land on my feet. And I'm like, how the fuck have I managed that? 2 seconds later, I can just hear a really like piercing scream. And turn around, and I've landed on a baby goat. So this goat's got snapped in half and all 4 legs sprawled out. And it, innocently trying to graze some food, and a 100-kilo meathead comes plowing down from the roof and absolutely ends its fucking day. But all you can hear Peter. After that for the rest of this day is the screaming of the goat. And it's like, it's the one thing that haunts me from the day. I've said it before. It's the one thing that haunts me from that day is that fucking goat. Just so innocent, bless it. And here we are. Life throws a 100-kilo meathead at you sometimes.
So you've landed on your feet. You've been fucking shot. You've killed a goat on the way down, and you're like, "What the fuck? Did I just get shot? Like, there's blood coming out. Like, what's going through your mind?"
Yeah. So I think instantly, mate, I'm dead. I think you get shot in the throat. I believe you got 2 minutes to live. I believe if that jugular gets hit, the main artery. I'm breathing, and then I said I'm breathing, and I was like, well, I'm fucking talking, so I'm not a medical expert, and I'm especially not when I'm panicking. I can feel the 2 holes in my neck. Blood is pissing out, and also, the Camelback, the hydration pipe, the hydration thing you had on your back. One of the pipes had taken either shrapnel or a bullet, so that has been severed on my body armor. So I've got water pissing down my chest, which I obviously can't see, and I believe is blood. So I'm like, this is fucking heavy. So I looked up at Ash, and I'm like, Ash, how bad is it? And he's a strong Mancunian. He's got a strong Mancunian accent. He's like, mate. And I'm like, yeah, cheers, mate. So, like, how bad is it? I need medical words now. Is it pissing? What? And he's like, that's straight through your fucking neck. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I've got to get something more from you here, man. I'm starting to panic. He was great, and the fact that he wasn't panicking too much, he was more giggling, to be honest. I know this sounds really unprofessional, but it's like that dark humour. People laugh in contact. Yeah. People laugh in fearful situations, especially like idiot 100%. Soldiers who are like, pack mentality. You think it's funny, right?
You're like fucking crack thumping. You're like, oh, fuck, that one was close.
Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
Meanwhile, you've got a middle parting. Your hair's been severed, and you're laughing about it. But hey, that's how we cope. That's how we get through it. But he sort of made me feel a little bit better. And then I just imagined I was on borrowed time, right? If I'm going to die, I'm going to go out with a bang. This is what we did. This is what I trained to do. This is why I wanted to come back out after my first tour. We know all the casualties we took. So it's time to fight. You want to get out there. All you want to do is go to Afghan. This is it. You've got to put your money where your mouth is. So get aggressive, get up, get punching. And that's what we did for a couple of minutes. Couple of minutes of pure panic, couple of minutes of hard fighting, a couple of minutes of not knowing what the fuck was going on, because I'm trying to gather where these positions are. I went out to a doorway and there was about 3 or 4 Taliban within 100 meters of that doorway about to punch in. I'm with a bolt action rifle. We had a camera crew with us. Again, Cobes, I'll get you on the footage after this, actually.
Yeah.
I've got a camera crew with me who at first weren't being very helpful. They're just trying to film me. And I'm like, how about you drop the camera and get that fucking rifle up, because there's dudes throwing grenades over the wall.
Start putting some rounds down range, you fuckhead.
Yeah, fuck's sake. So I did have 5 minutes of panic and real fear, real acceptance that I was going to die. I thought I was dead. I won't lie to you. I thought I've got a couple of minutes here. So we went out tried to go out with a bang, and I'm panicking. What's Ash going to do if I fucking pile in? He's got to deal with a firefight. He's got to deal with me. 5 minutes in, the medic comes running through the door. He, in actual fact, has heard me say it on the radio, the personal radio, and without even asking the grouping he was with, he just went, boss, I'm off. So I've been shot, and he started running. And the boss is getting over the main radio, but he's heard it on the PRR, and Wes just started running. I believe it was about 400 or 500 meters, full kit, 40, 50 degrees Celsius, through Taliban firing points. He's running past the Taliban that are shooting me. So they must have turned around and looked and been like, what the fuck is this fuckhead on?
Fucking nutter.
Yeah, he came straight in. It cracked his classic joke, every day's a legs day, because he was the PTI, so he used to train us physically before we went out to deployment, and he was always hammering our legs. But yeah, every day's a legs day. Was completely calm, looked at me, and said straight away, I've got it, I've got you. He's like, don't risk, goes, it's fine. And for me, mate, after that, no panic. This is, like I said, the man next to you, is of good caliber. He says it, it's done. So for me, mate, there genuinely was not a panic after that. He said I was fine. I had Ash next to me, the guy on the machine gun. A couple minutes after Wes got in, the rest of the section got in. So for the guys who aren't military, the rest of the soldiers that I was sort of covering came back, and then we took over that compound. So we took over the building. Started breaking down arcs, started dishing out target indications, started getting the fire back. And, we mentioned earlier, Cobes, you had the worst days of your life and the best days of your life. That day, I went from probably one of the worst moments of my life to one of the best moments of my life. The rest of that day was awesome, man. That's what we went out to Afghan to do. We had an awesome firefight. Yeah. We fucking, did some damage. We got in a good scrap. I'm with all these boys that are just at the, I look around, I'm with all these guys who are at the ultimate professionalism, at the highest level they're going to operate at, absolutely killing it, being brave, and just getting aggressive because one of their boys has been hit and it was me. And to experience that, there's not many humans that do experience that. There's not many soldiers that potentially experience that, especially now, guys, we're not deploying as much. Very privileged to have felt that level of that high. That it's almost like, I'd say it's like a drug.
The next part of the episode is Wes Masters' view of what unfolded on that same day. Wes was the medic that ran across Taliban firing points and open ground, loaded down by equipment on a very fucking hot day to come to the aid of Simon Moloney, who was shot in the throat by a Taliban sharpshooter. For Wes's actions on that day, he was awarded the Military Cross by Her Majesty The Queen of England. I had a great conversation with Wes about all things military and how these events impacted him. The conversation did get a little bit dark. There was talk of suicide. There was talk of mental health issues, anxiety, depression, PTSD, etc. It was a great conversation. If anyone's interested in learning more about what goes on in a soldier's mind after coming back from war, this was a great conversation, which I'll have linked in the show notes.
But I was just in my process, I was like disciplined and training hard. And there's that saying, isn't there? It's better to be ready for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be ready. So I was ready as fuck. I was young and I was fucking hungry to get out there and do it all again. So, and it was a good gig, The Brigade Reconnaissance Force is a good gig. Like you go out and, you're always going to go out and have some kind of effect on the enemy rather than just dominate the ground. So, that was how it came into being.
Just pause there for a second so we can explain that to the listeners. So the BRF, like you guys were pretty much like based at a base. Was it Bastion you guys were at?
Yeah.
Or another base?
Yeah, Camp Bastion.
Yeah, and then you guys would like get intelligence that, there's a fucking key leader in a specific area is going to be there for a certain period of time. All right, sweet. This is a time-sensitive mission. We need to fucking jump on the helicopters. We need to get out. We need to get boots on the ground. We need to fucking cordon it off. We need to get this dude, like, tonight. Let's rock and roll. So you roll out, helicopters, do your thing, get back on helicopters, back to Camp Bastion, grab a feed, get a good night's sleep, fucking do it all again. Get ready, always be prepared.
Yeah, mate, it was exactly that, and that's fucking glory, right? That's what you sit there playing Call of Duty, and there you are, you're doing it, and is I'm not gonna lie, it was not a bad job to do, and it's like you gear up, you do like a 2-day intelligence cycle where you really just psych up, go over the plan, your part in the plan, your job, where do you sit in the plan, where do you sit on the ground in relation to others, and stuff like that, and you go through it, and then I would. From my little corner of the sky, I would train the guys up on some new medical procedure. And it's quite ironic because right before that op, I was training the guys up. We linked up with the Green Berets that were over on the other side of Camp Bastion over in the American side. So we linked up the Green Berets medic and we were just like fucking with our blokes basically. And I was like, what? I was like, what can I make my guys do? And then he was like, what can I make my guys do? And those nasal pharyngeal tubes, those the airway, basically if you're putting an airway in someone, it goes in your nose, basically like the width of your little finger. I had them putting them in my blokes, which is jokes, but that's a horrible feeling. That truly feels like getting fucked in the nose.
Yeah.
But basically, but basically right before that op, I did this thing called a surgical cric or surgical cricothyroidotomy, which basically means you slash this little membrane in your throat here. If all this is mangled and you don't really have an airway to work with, you'll slash a little thing here, put a tube in, and magic, you can breathe. And I was teaching the guys this, and Simon was like, I would rather fucking die than have that done to me. And it's quite funny because we went on the op a few days later and I was literally had my crike kit right there because he's just been entry and exit here. I'm like, I'm going to have to fucking crike this guy. I know I'm going to have to crike him because he's not bleeding out. He's bleeding, but he wasn't bleeding out. And I thought that airway is fucked and I sat there and I was like looking at it just thinking, I'm coming for you. I'm fucking coming for you. But mate, it was quite funny, and he knew it. I said I might have to cry.
Let's pause there for a little bit. Let's pause there for a little bit because you've obviously skipped a lot of stuff, which Simon and I have covered in another podcast. So I'll have that linked in the show notes if anyone wants to go back and listen to Simon's side of the story where he gets shot in the throat, falls off a fucking roof, lands on a goat, kills it, thinks he's like got a couple minutes left to live, and then like all of a sudden you're there next to him, and he's like, "What the fuck? Where'd you just come from?" So you guys obviously step out. You're on helicopters. You get inserted. You start patrolling in towards the target compound. Snipers are up in an overwatch position. You guys, a few rounds start kicking off, and then you hear over the radio, Simon's been shot. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, it pretty much happened exactly like that. So I'm over in a different cluster of compounds because we moved out and gone on to a different objective, and I'm just there because that's where most of the blokes are, right? So I'm where most guys can get hit. I'm there, and I didn't think the snipers would get whacked. That's not a sly jab, but yeah, and basically, yeah, and that.
Hey, I was with two of my blokes got shot. Two of my blokes in my 4-man team got shot, bro. So it was always a bit of a joke in our teams as well. It was like, oh fuck, going out with Cobes, yeah, be careful. The last 2 blokes have been shot.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Like, on a serious note, that was an amazing podcast to listen to because he said so much stuff that I'd never heard him say, you know, and it was incredible to hear and maybe very emotional, mate, to hear him say it and hear from his perspective. And obviously, I always know my perspective, so I'm hoping I can have some kind of a similar impact on him and some of the other guys. But yeah, so I've got to him or I've heard he's been hit. So yeah, I've got my kind of like radio on, which is like short distance radio, and yeah, one of the machine gunner that was with him has just gone, oh, sorry, I'm going to butcher the accent, so I'm not going to bother. But he was just a strong Mancunian guy, and he was like, Si's just been whacked in the neck. And yeah, so I've heard that, and I'm sat taking a knee with the section commander, or one of the section commanders that was there, and he had a lot of kit on, right? So he was weighed right down. I mean, I was carrying 65 kilos, and I swear he was in excess of that. And he was fit as well, Fijian guy. And yeah, it's just come over the radio. Everyone's heard it, right? So everyone's just like, just as the contacts come in on us, I'm like, fuck this. Like, okay, yeah, just make my way back. And it was, I guess, maybe from planning, like, where it was like constantly like, okay, well, we're going to be here, we're going to be here, we're going to be here. If something happens, I'm just going to get to you, right? I'm just going to get up and I'm going to go. And the boys knew I was fit enough. I was one of the fittest in the squadron, right? So they knew I could make it. And yeah, to do it in a contact though was probably not wise, but and certainly out of the SOPs, right? And that was where probably looping back to me being a mischievous little prick is that if I didn't see the reason behind a rule, which obviously is a clear, very reason, because if I got hit, we'd all be fucked. But yeah, so like, I just got up and I was like, right, well, I either get to him in 2 minutes or he's going to die. So that was it. I just got up and just made my way off.
You've said this a couple times, man, in this podcast, bro. You're like, I back myself. It fucking came out right there and then, mate. And like, I'm sure Sai is super grateful for that. And I'm sure you're grateful for that and how it turned out, man. I'm going to fucking back myself. I'm going to run 300 meters weighed down with 65 kilos in whatever, like 50-degree heat to get to my mate who's just been fucking shot in the throat.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, like there was no specific thing that I'd done in the past where I'd run with that kit to know that I could do that. But, you know, I'd fucking done other stuff and, you know, it was either make it or don't make it. And yeah, I just got up, did it, got to him and I'm presented with this injury that doesn't make fucking logical sense because he's got an entry and an exit and they both look the same. So I didn't know their entry and exit. And the whole time I thought, okay, well, he's been hit with some frag that's pinged in front of him and it's split and gone in either side. That's the only logical explanation because, you know, he's talking and he's not catastrophically bleeding. So what is going on here? And yeah, basically just made up a bluff dressing because I wanted to get pressure on the bleeding, but you can't get pressure on the bleeding because I would have occluded his airways. So I just fucking looked at my kit and was like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? And pulled out some sniper tape, pulled out a dressing, cut it up so there was a couple of pads, then taped them the width apart that I wanted to have, and then used the elastic from those dressings to get it round so that essentially the dressings kind of brought it out a little bit and I could get a little pressure on. But I did spend quite a bit of time with my fingers in his neck, and that's a constant joke that I've had a finger and a thumb inside him.
Oh, mate, I love that. That's something I miss actually, is like the military humor, man. Like it gets pretty fucking dark, right? Like I've laughed through, you know, some of the most boring fucking mundane things that like people would be like, That's not even funny. Why are you laughing at that? But then I've just laughed at some of the like most stupid, ridiculous things where you should be fucking like fearful for your life. You know, there's bullets whizzing around you, and you know you can fucking hear the crack of the bullet as it whizzes by your head, man. The dirt's being fucking kicked up around you, and you're like laughing with your mate, going, "Fuck, that's close."
But yeah, mate. On a more serious note, there isn't really a higher answer that I can give here. Like in terms of how I felt, like I didn't feel anything. I just felt like there was a job and I had to do the job. So I head down, got the job done, and I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel nervous. I didn't feel overconfident. I just was like, okay, here's what I need to do, and just quickly had a plan in my head. Oh, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to do it. There's been other times, don't get me wrong, where, in fact, later that day, where I was doing something and I thought, I'm going to die here. I'm definitely going to die. I'm going to die. Like literally, if we go down there, I'm going to die. Which you'll be able to relate to, right? You go down a certain alley and you think, oh, I'm not fucking going to see the other side of this. But yeah, on that day, in that moment, it just all clicked. It made sense. And I was just fucking making it up as I went along, if I'm being quite honest. And when I just thought, you're not going to die, I was like, you're not going to die, but that crike kit might be coming for you. And you know, he was at ease, and like the good thing about some medics get real in their little pigeonhole in their corner that they're the most important thing and what they do is the most important thing and stuff. But I could see the big picture, right? I was like, we need our sniper back because our walls are about to get overrun and I'm about to be on Al Jazeera with my head held up, right? So like I was like, mate, are you good? And he was itching to get back in the firefight. I was having a hard time to keep him with me, right? So like in the end, I was like, right, I need to make something that's going to last. And then how badly can things go wrong in 3 to 5 minutes? So I was
Get him back in the fight, bro.
Go, get back up there, fucking kill someone and come back and see me. And and that was exactly how it worked. And because it was so hot, because they were literally from all sides trying to get over the walls and shit. Like I couldn't get them extracted for 90 minutes, and that's a long time to have a casualty for, really, especially a casualty that's like that.
Outside of the golden hour, bro.
Yeah, so so that was from a medical perspective, because I thought I've not really done. You have that, right? You do something special, but at the moment and for like a year later, you're just like, I didn't really do anything. I just fucking I did what I would have done any other time. I didn't really do anything that special.
Yeah.
But the hospital made a big deal of it, and that was probably played into me getting the MC, was because the second in command of the squadron got pulled aside by the surgeons and said, whoever that fucking medic was, like, they need to be recognized for that, because that was outrageous. When really, I just fucking made it up.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Like, it's like something's come up, right? Like, all right, here's a problem. I need to provide a solution, and I'm just going to fucking do whatever's necessary right now and figure it out along the way, man. You know, and luckily, things worked out in your favor and in Simon's favor, and, you know, for the benefit of the entire troop, that, you know, you got there, you were able to patch him up, get him back in the fight to, you know, then start fucking taking dudes out and eliminating threats, man. Like, that's incredible, bro. And, you know, I understand exactly where you're coming from, because when I was nominated for my award, I was just like, I just fucking did my job. Like, any of the boys would have done the same thing. Like, if you're gonna award me, you should be awarding all these guys as well. Like, I didn't do anything special. I was just like Johnny on the spot that just had to fucking come up with a solution for a problem that had just presented itself, right? Like, and it wasn't for years and years that, like, I never talked about it. And it was like, it was always my mates that were like, hey man, like, what you did was fucking incredible and blah, blah. And I was like, you would have done the same thing. Like, yeah, I might say that, but I don't actually know that in the fucking time and in the location with that situation, like, unfolding as it did, man. So, you know, you should be proud of what you achieved, bro, and to be recognized by, you know, higher command that are like, you know, you saved this dude's life. You got him back on the job, you know, which then potentially saved more guys' life within the troop to, you know, bring these guys home, man. Like, that's fucking incredible, bro. And you should be really proud of that, mate.
Yeah, mate, I am. And don't get me wrong, I go back to what I said at the start, in that I was the same person the day before that happened, the day it happened, and the day after. I was the same person, but in most other people's eyes, I was a different person, right? So that for me is like looking past
Yep.
what you can see about someone. I think of myself as a pretty good judge of character, and I can look at someone, I think they've probably got something quite special. They've just not been tested at this time. And I've had people that have had a real problem with it at times.
Yes.
When I came back home and I'm on the piss or on the lash and on a night out, and people come up to me like, "Oh, you're fucking amazing! Like, I just don't know how you do that." And I was like, "Mate, like, until you've been tested, you don't have any idea what you're capable of."
The final portion of this episode is a conversation I had with Paul Minter, who is also a former British military veteran and also the founder of Head Up Charity in the UK, where Simon Moloney is also one of the co-founders. So Paul and I discuss everything that took place throughout his deployments, throughout his military career. He deployed to Afghanistan numerous times and developed some quite severe PTSD from things that he saw and things that he did over there. And then we discussed how that then trickled over into his life back home in the UK and how that was wreaking havoc on his physical and mental health. We discussed strategies, tools, techniques that Paul had to use, had to find, had to refine to allow him to start managing his mind, take control of his life, and start moving himself in the right direction. Head Up Charity is a charity that essentially uses these tools that Paul's used himself, along with his mates and the wider veteran community in the UK, to allow people to take control of their lives as well. I want to talk about some of the tools that you've used to essentially get yourself out of bed, get yourself moving again, get yourself back into a good headspace and being a contributing member of society. But before we do that, I want you to talk to me about your charity, Head Up Charity, what that's about, how that came about, and what the vision is for you moving forward.
Yeah, so Head Up Charity, which is now known as. So when I was talking to you at the beginning of this podcast, I said about the military sent me to get some further help on mental health, try and see some psychiatrists and do whatever I need to do. And initially I thought, okay, I'm not really feeling it, but because it's new to me, let's just give it a go and see how we get on. So I spent several months with them doing stuff, and in the end, I started to get a bit better, but I realised I was getting better when I wasn't seeing them. I was getting better throughout the weeks when I was like kind of working on myself. And then every time I went to go and see someone, I got worse, and then I was worse for a couple of days, and it was just a continuous spiral like that. And then I worked out that the reason why I was getting worse is because whatever subconsciously was going on in my head, whatever wires were crossed, and were causing triggers and were causing me to feel anxious and depressed and on edge and feeling like that I was back on the front line again, was happening every time I went to see someone. And what it was is I was going into a military doctor's office. Everyone's wearing uniform, where there's posters of like you would see back at the regiments or back at the unit. It had a complete military feel to it, and I was like, how am I supposed to get any help whilst I'm in a place which caused this traumatic event to happen anyway? So the way I now explain it, the way I looked at it, I was like, if I was a burns victim, I wouldn't be getting help next to an open fire. Or if I was in a road traffic accident, I wouldn't be seeing a cancer on the side of a motorway, because it would just defeat the object. So why is it in the military that there's nowhere else to go in the military if you're suffering with PTSD or any sort of military mental health condition? You can't go anywhere unless it's a military involved environment. And the same with a lot of the charities. There's very few charities that offer outside the military environment, or military charity that offer help outside the military environment. So that's one of the big things I thought about when I think about charity. I thought, well, I said to the army in the end, can you help me? Can you send me away somewhere? And they said, no, we can't fund that. And I was like, oh, great. So I'm never going to get better. And at this point, I'm still on the edge. I'm still like, I've got mates around me dying quite a lot, on a weekly basis. I was
from suicide.
The suicide, yeah. So I was on the corridor at the time, and I was getting help myself. And a friend who lives 2 doors up, I woke up one morning, he was hanging outside my room, And I was like, this is the severity of how bad things are getting. And it didn't seem like anyone, there was proper help out there. And I was just like, what is happening? Why, there's lots of individuals that want to help, but as a whole, as an organisation, it wasn't working. And I think I as an individual, I highlighted a big reason why. But no one else wanted to seem to acknowledge that. So anyway, I said to the army, can you move me away from the barracks, because I can't get help whilst living in barracks? And they said no. So I was like, right, so you're not going to help me with an outside help away from where my triggers are, and you're not going to move me away. So Simon Moloney, who you had on before, I was speaking, a good friend of mine, and I was speaking to him, and he said, mate, move away, come and move near me, get away from the environment. And I was like, yeah, okay, I will. So, I spent, over half my wages, monthly wages, to pay for rent nearest where I live. And then I just started working on myself. Started YouTubing, YouTube channels, Google, looking for positive mindset training, seeing what I could do. And then things like journaling and affirmations started to come up, and I started implementing them, and it started work like really well. And I started looking into gut health, and I started looking at what am I putting in my body that can help me get rid of all these sugars and get rid of processed food and start getting more vitamins and minerals in me that my body needs, and it has a big effect with the brain. Then I started looking at fitness and not constantly thrashing myself all the time. That just take things nice and easy. Even if it means like jogging and walking, just doing that, just to get stimulate the hormones, but not overstimulating them. That you're then on edge all day. And there's just so many different things I started doing. Very quickly, I started to feel a lot better, and I had so many friends all over the place that were struggling. And so they started to come to me saying, you're doing so much better. What happened? So I then started helping them individually, saying, look, why don't you try this? And they were like, wow, this generally is working. I was like, yeah. And I thought, by this point, the military said they're going to medically discharge me. After 18 years service, they said, unfortunately, we don't think you're mentally stable to stay in the military, so we're going to discharge you, which is a big blow for me because I never wanted to leave.
Right. So you did 18 years.
Yeah.
And then you got out what year?
So it was actually last November 2020. So I left then, but so just before that, I got offered a job, for example, in Africa doing anti-poaching, like £500 a day. So I had a few other jobs lined up as well, but there was just this niggling little thing that was like, these jobs are not. It's not a purpose. It's not what I want to be doing. I'm just going back to the same old treadmill again. I was like, I want to help people, but I just didn't know how. And then I was in Scotland with Sutter during the lockdown, and I ran around this lock. It was like, I don't know, it was 34 miles, something like that. And as I ran around it, I had one of those epiphany moments. It's like everything just like lined out in front of me. Like, you need to start a charity. To start a charity, you don't know anything about it. You're going to have to do something big to get attention, big to get backing, big to get funding. Because this is, I knew I wanted to create a retreat where people can go to. So going off my own experiences, away from the military environment, away from all the triggers where there isn't really any other help like that. Also, I knew I wanted a retreat where where people can come to and learn all these positive mindset training. So it doesn't take away from medication. It doesn't take away from people talking to psychiatrists or anything. It just gives them another means and another tool in a bag to learn. So I come up with the idea of running 5,800 miles around the UK to bring attention to the charity. And I was supposed to leave the day after my discharge. My discharge was on the 27th of November 2020, and on the 28th. So for me personally, it was almost like I wasn't leaving. I was going straight into doing something. But because of lockdown, I wasn't able to do it. So thankfully, that was a blessing in disguise. And now I've been able to concentrate on the charities, and now we're really starting to get the charity underway. We've got so many things lined up. The charity won't be formed for another couple of months, not fully, but we're already starting to work on it, starting to get attention, starting to give talks. And that the vision is by 2023. We've got a 2-year fundraising period to raise around £3 million, which I feel fairly confident we will. And then we're going to build a luxury retreat where 10 veterans, serving soldiers, from the Army, Navy, RAF, reserves, that they can get in touch with us. They don't have to have any sort of medical assessment beforehand. They just say they don't have to have a certain level of severity, which a lot of charities and the military say, unfortunately, we can't supply this money on you because you're not as bad as the people we need to supply money on, which is very reactive, which it kind of needs to be. But we want to say to these people, just tell us that you're not feeling good. Book yourself onto a 7-day course. Come onto the course. We'll teach you nutrition, fitness, animal therapy, cold water therapy, red light therapy, meditations, affirmations, journaling, all these different basic tools throughout these 7 days. You can either take on board or not take on board. Some will work for you, some won't work for you. But now you've got a plethora of different platforms that you're now aware of and that you now know about. And not only that, we've kind of held your hand through the steps and leading you up and putting you back into control of your life. And so it's sending you on your way. So hopefully this person won't ever need to go to a charity where he's severe enough to need that help. So yeah, and that's our mission at the moment. So we've got a couple of years, we're almost formed, and then we've got a 2-year fundraising period where we want to get as many fundraisers as possible. We're going to get as much backing as we can. We're going to search for as many grants as we possibly can. And get this £3 million on the way. We're going to go try and get as big as we can on social media. And then, like I say, the 5,800 mile run, I'm still doing. I'm doing it on the 1st of March, 2021. And I'm running 30 miles every single day. So, well, not every single day, but 200 days periods. I've got a few days off in between here and there. And the idea is just to meet as many people along the way as possible. So I call it a run, but I'll be jogging and walking. So I want people to join me, to fundraise with me. I want people to, we're trying to get as many schools and universities as possible. So as much as this is a military charity, the run itself, we want everyone to get involved, everyone to start talking about mental health, everyone to start going, you know what, we don't have to, it's not all doom and gloom. There's loads of good things out there. Just start spreading the word in a positive way.
That's a very cool concept, man. And it reminds me of what Swiss 8 was trying to do when they first started their organization. Now, something you spoke about there was all of these different tools to be able to apply to your life to start putting those pieces of the jigsaw puzzle back together. Now, one thing I want to talk about here is the autonomic nervous system, and I've spoken about this numerous times. The autonomic nervous system is the balance between the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight state, essentially our acute stress response, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest, which is essential for long-term survival. Now, as a soldier, coming from a war-torn environment where you're fighting and coming back to your home location, there's not really a decompression period. And man, like our fucking cook on our patrol base was murdered by one of the Afghani National Army soldiers that we were actually in Afghanistan to train 2 weeks before we came home to Australia. And, I went from that environment, 0 decompression period. And within 2 weeks, I was, with my girlfriend, with my friends playing rugby back in that normal civilian space. And I hadn't been taught these tools to be able to, deal with the emotions and all of the shit that I hadn't really had a chance to deal with in Afghanistan. And all of a sudden I find myself back on the street, where people are still in kind of their bubble. And I mean, we were in a bubble in Afghanistan as well. And what was important to us was, the people either side of us and the guys that were on the ground in your team that were working towards the same thing. And in my mind, this is where a lot of issues come up is, these guys come back from being in a highly sympathetic state where their stress response is upregulated, and then they're back in a safe environment and you are constantly on the lookout for potential threats. And sometimes, if you're in that heightened state, then you start creating threats where there are none. And dude, so many things are still drilled into my brain, man. If I sit down at a restaurant, I'm sitting with my back against the wall where I can see the entry and exit points. If I'm riding with friends somewhere, then I'm maintaining my spacing as I go through, traffic. I'm constantly on the lookout for high ground or anywhere where there's some potential camouflage and concealment, and all of these things that were just drilled into me that became a part of my job. It's very difficult to shake those things, and when you're taught to do these things, you're constantly trying to implement them, and it's very difficult to have that transition and try and switch that stuff off. And I think this is a big problem with why a lot of guys do actually fall into states of anxiety and depression and PTSD and things like that, because they haven't been taught these tools to be able to switch off the sympathetic state and drive the parasympathetic state and tell themselves that they are in a safe place and they can chill out and relax and, not be on high alert all the time and turn those speakers down, so to speak. And something that worked for me when I was in Afghanistan was literally counting my breaths every night when I went to sleep, because there was a period of a couple of weeks where I was in that highly sympathetic state. My team leader had been shot, put him on a helicopter, didn't know if he's going to live or die. Next day was back out on patrol, and burst of machine gun fire went right between my mate and I. And, I had to focus on my breath to allow me to get to sleep at night. Now, I wasn't taught how to do that. I just had to figure out a way to be able to get to sleep so that I could perform the next day, because as the lead scout of my sniper patrol and the combat first aider, it was my role to be the eyes and the ears of my patrol. And my worst fear was not that I would step on an IED or cop around to the chest. It would be that if I missed something, then the bloke behind me took the brunt of the explosion or copped around to the chest, and that was something that I would have to live with for the rest of my life. So I had to find a tool that was going to allow me to get to sleep so I could get up in the morning and be at my best and be able to perform and do my job and be an asset to the team rather than a liability. Now, a point that I want to make here is that these tools are going to be different for every single person. What works for me might not necessarily work for you, and the tools that you use might not necessarily work for other people. So we need to add tools to our toolbox to be applied at the appropriate time. That's going to elicit the response that we want. And look, man, it took me a little bit of time to figure this out because, I went from this highly sympathetic stress response state in Afghanistan where your senses are on high alert all the time. And then, you're back in your home environment and those sensors are still up. So I had to find those tools and I had to tweak those tools to allow me to, drive the relaxation state, the parasympathetic state, so that I could get back into society and function somewhat normally. For me, I love scuba diving. So when I'm underwater, I'm scuba diving. I'm literally focusing on my breath because that's what controls my buoyancy. So I'm in the moment and I'm thinking about where I'm at and nothing else matters. And the same thing goes for riding my motorbike in Thailand. I'll put a podcast on and I'll go for a cruise and I literally am just focused on what I'm doing, where I'm at. I'm living in the moment and I'm not concerned about anything else. Now, for other people, breathing through a tube 30 meters underwater is going to drive the stress response, the sympathetic state. And likewise, riding a motorbike in Thailand might drive that sympathetic state again. So, those tools are very important and how you use them is also important. So, we need to look at adding these tools to our toolbox. We need to find the things that are going to allow us to relax, drive that parasympathetic state, allow us to dampen that signal from the sympathetic nervous system and basically tell our brain that, hey, everything's safe, we're cool, we can chill out, we can relax, and we can get back to our baseline, which is homeostasis. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that, we need to have a toolbox full of different tools. So if you look at a builder, for example, they have different tools for different jobs. And if you need to, hammer a nail into the wall so you can hang a picture or something like that, then you're obviously going to use a specific tool. If you need to screw off a roof, then you're going to use a different tool. If you need to cut down a tree, you're going to use a different tool. If you need to put in some plumbing, drill a hole somewhere, you're going to use a different tool. If you need to blow some leaves off your driveway, that's a different tool as well. So the more tools that we have in our toolbox, the more options we have to be able to pick the right tool to get the job done that we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I think also it's also a very good point to let people know that I think what happens when people have all these tools and they just try and use them all at once, and they're like, oh, why am I not good? I'm not using it. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And all of a sudden they get overwhelmed. And so I think the way you just said it as like a toolbox is a great idea of how to say it. You know, put the tools, you got them, put them in a box, and then when you need one, pick it back out again, rather than just holding them all, thinking how and trying to juggle them all and not knowing how to use them. I think that's a great way of looking at it. And I think, yeah, and certainly from my experience and my experience in seeing other people, is people try to use too many at once, or try to do too much of a deep dive into one initially. Just gradually get used to it, because it's a shock to the body to be able to take in this, to change your way of being or change your way of thinking, or what's your social acceptance or social belief. To try and change that, so much of it instantly, it's a big shock to the body and the mind. So you've got to just gradually just chip away and chip away and chip away, and eventually it ingrains into you. So yeah, I agree. And I think also you said about you just going back to what you were talking about earlier when you said how being in like a fight or flight moment constantly, and I mean it reminded me of a story that happened to me. And after just coming back from when Si got shot in the throat, that tour, I came back from it, and not long after, I'd gone out for a night out. I only had a couple of drinks, but my head wasn't right. I mean, I knew something wasn't right. Paranoia was there before I even had a drink. Anyway, just to show you how severe my paranoia got, is I saw a guy coming out of a train station, an Asian bloke. And I thought he had a bomb in his bag. And no reason. It was just a guy coming back from work. And I genuinely believed there was a bomb in it. And I was telling myself in my head, no, he hasn't. And then it was, yes, he has. I just ran up, pushed everyone away, jumped on him, just shouted, he's got a bomb in his bag. And everyone, this is the middle of London, everyone, ran away. And he was like, get off me. And I was holding his hands out, thinking he's going to try and pull the trigger. And I was shouting, get the police, get the police. And the police came, dealt with us both. And they realised he was just a guy, arrested me. Took me to the police station and said, look, do you think you got PTSD? And I was like, no, of course not. So they charged me. And then the army, being the army, rather than trying to say, look, what's going on? What's wrong with you? You've just come back from tour. You think that there's a bomb in someone's bag. Instead of that, they try kicking me out of the army.
This episode was brought to you by Swiss 8, who I've been an ambassador for the last few years. I love what they're doing in the veteran community and in the mental health space in Australia, which is starting to trickle over to other parts of the world. If you're struggling with your mental health, reach out to either Swiss 8 if you're in Australia, or Head Up Charity in the UK to see what they can do to help you out. Swiss 8 actually has an app that you can download and start structuring and scheduling their 8 pillars of health and wellness straight onto your phone. I do have a training program up on the Swiss 8 app, along with a number of other veterans who have provided content in their 8 pillars of health and wellness. I'll have all of these conversations along with those links in the show notes. Any 5-star ratings and reviews are much appreciated. Much love, guys. Peace.